Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Imagine your next vaccine doesn't come from a needle, but from a salad. Picture a world where life-saving drugs for diseases like Ebola are grown in a field of tobacco plants, not brewed in a multi-million-dollar lab. This isn't science fiction. It's the very real and revolutionary field of agro-pharmacology, a science that's turning ordinary plants into miniature pharmaceutical factories. Today, we're diving deep into how scientists are reprogramming plants to grow medicine, a process also known as biopharming or plant molecular farming. The core principle is as elegant as it is powerful. Scientists insert a specific gene into a plant, providing a genetic blueprint that instructs the plant to produce a specific protein. This protein could be a vaccine antigen, a therapeutic antibody, or a crucial enzyme that someone's body is missing. These green factories, powered by sunlight, water, and soil, offer a radical alternative to traditional drug manufacturing. For millennia, we've used plants as medicine. From ancient Egyptian papyrus listing over 700 plant-based remedies to traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, the plant itself was the medicine. Then, in the 19th century, chemistry allowed us to isolate active ingredients, like morphine from poppies, and synthesize them in labs. For a while, the whole plant was pushed aside. But the genetic revolution of the 1980s brought it back in a spectacular way. In 1986, scientists announced they had successfully produced a human growth hormone in transgenic tobacco and sunflower plants. This was the light bulb moment. Plants weren't just a source of natural compounds. They could be programmable biofactories. The age of agro-pharmacology had begun. Choosing the right plant for the job is a critical step. You need to think about how much you can grow, how much protein it will make, and importantly, how to keep it from mixing with our food supply. This has led to some surprising choices. The star player, ironically, is tobacco. Yes, the plant behind a public health crisis is now a hero in pharmaceutical production. Species like Nicotiana benthamiana are the white mice of the plant world. Why? It's not a major food crop, so the risk of it accidentally ending up in your cereal is incredibly low. It grows fast, produces a huge amount of leafy biomass, and is very easy to genetically modify. But the ultimate dream for many scientists is the edible vaccine. Imagine delivering medicine simply by eating the plant. No needles, no refrigeration, no costly purification. This would be a game changer for global health. To that end, researchers are working with everyday vegetables. Scientists at the University of California are engineering lettuce and spinach to produce mRNA vaccines, similar to the Pfizer and Moderna COVID shots. The goal? Someday, you might grow your own vaccine salad. Tomatoes, corn, potatoes, rice, and soybeans are all being explored as potential platforms, each with unique advantages for producing and storing these life-saving proteins. So how exactly do you turn a tomato into a tiny medicine factory? It comes down to a sophisticated genetic toolkit. There are three main methods. First, there's stable nuclear transformation. This is the permanent upgrade. Using a disarmed soil bacterium called Agrobacterium, scientists insert the new gene directly into the plant's own DNA. Once it's in, it's a permanent, heritable trait passed down through seeds to future generations. This is great for consistency in large-scale agriculture, but it can be slow, taking months or years to develop a stable plant line. The second method is the rapid response system, Transient Expression. When you need a drug fast, like during a pandemic, you don't have years to wait. With Transient Expression, the new gene is introduced into the plant's leaves, but it doesn't become a permanent part of its DNA. A solution containing the engineered Agrobacterium is essentially injected into the leaves of mature plants. For a few days, the leaf cells become hyperproductive factories, churning out the desired protein at high levels. The plants are then harvested, and the protein is extracted. This process can produce vast quantities of a protein in just weeks. Finally, there's the high-yield powerhouse, Chloroplast Transformation. Instead of targeting the plant's main DNA in the nucleus, this method targets the chloroplasts, the tiny solar-powered engines that perform photosynthesis. A single leaf cell can have hundreds of chloroplasts, and each has its own DNA. By adding the gene here, you can get thousands of copies per cell, leading to massive yields of protein. A huge bonus is gene containment. In most crops, chloroplasts are only passed down from the mother plant, not through pollen. This essentially stops the new gene from spreading to other plants in the wind, a major environmental concern. This isn't just theoretical. Plant-made pharmaceuticals are already helping people. The first to ever gain FDA approval was Elelyso, a treatment for the rare genetic disorder Gaucher disease. It's an enzyme produced in genetically engineered carrot cells, grown in large, sterile bioreactors. Its approval in 2012 was a landmark moment, proving that plant-based systems could meet the highest safety and quality standards. Then, during the 2014 Ebola outbreak, the world saw the power of the rapid response system with ZMapp. This experimental treatment was a cocktail of 3 antibodies produced in tobacco plants using Transient Expression. Scientists were able to rapidly scale up production to provide emergency treatment. Most recently, the COVID-19 pandemic brought us Covafenz, the world's first plant-based vaccine for humans to be authorized for use, approved in Canada in 2022. The vaccine uses virus-like particles grown in tobacco relatives. These successes are tangible proof that this technology is not just viable, but a powerful new tool in our healthcare arsenal. But if this technology is so great, why aren't we growing all our medicines in fields? The road ahead has some significant hurdles. First is the regulatory maze. A plant-made drug falls under the watch of both drug agencies, like the FDA, and agricultural agencies, like the USDA. This makes the approval process long, complex, and expensive. The biggest concern driving this regulation is environmental and food safety. The risk of a gene from a pharmaceutical crop spreading via pollen to a conventional food crop is a serious issue. Imagine a gene for a potent drug accidentally getting into the corn supply. An incident in 2002 with a company called Protogene led to a massive recall and much tighter rules. To prevent this, companies must use strict containment measures, like physical isolation or growing plants in sealed greenhouses. Then there's public perception. This technology is tied to the heated debate over GMOs. While many would see a clear difference between a GM corn chip and a life-saving medicine, the GMO label can cause anxiety. Building public trust requires transparency and clear communication about the benefits and the safeguards. Finally, there's the economic reality. Growing plants is cheap, but extracting and purifying a tiny amount of protein from tons of leaf matter to the high purity required for medicine can be incredibly expensive. Making these drugs economically competitive with traditional methods is a major challenge. So the green revolution in our medicine cabinet is well underway. Agro-Pharmacology is shifting from a science fiction dream to a scientific reality. The successes of drugs like Elelyso and vaccines like Covafenz have proven the concept. The potential is immense. Cheaper, safer, and more scalable drug production, with the game-changing possibility of edible vaccines that could revolutionize global health. But the challenges are just as real. Navigating complex regulations, ensuring absolute environmental safety, overcoming public skepticism, and proving economic viability are the key tasks for the scientists and companies in this field. This technology represents a fundamental shift in our relationship with nature, repurposing the ancient partnership between people and plants to solve modern medicine's biggest problems. As the science gets better and the ethical questions are debated, the fields that have always fed us might just become the fields that heal us too. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.